Karl Marx was one of the most influential socialist thinkers to emerge in the 19th century. He established a way of thinking we call Marxism. He was born in Trier in Germany in 1818 and witnessed the Industrial Revolution firsthand. This was a time when machinery started to take over manufacturing. Items were being mass-produced, and more people started to work in factories as cities grew larger to accommodate the families who were moving to them for these types of jobs. According to Marx, the cause of social change was conflict between the social classes, which he believed to be a feature of all economically developed human societies. He called this idea the materialist conception of history. Simply put, human beings need to produce things like food, shelter, and clothing in order to survive. How they produce these things varies over time. For example, in the Middle Ages in Europe, land was the most important factor. A class divide existed where a minority owned the land and the majority worked on it to produce the food and other materials needed to survive. Marx was a well-educated man who studied philosophy and law at university. He wrote many publications with his best friend Friedrich Engels, two of the most famous being the Communist Manifesto in 1848 and Das Kapital in 1867. Das Kapital was the first of a 3-volume series, most of which was published after Marx died in 1883. In this, Marx proposed that the motivating force of capitalism is in the exploitation of labour. Capitalism generally refers to an economic system in which the means of production are all or mostly privately owned and operated for a profit. Society is made up of 2 social classes: the owners, who Marx referred to as the bourgeoisie, and the workers, who Marx referred to as the proletariat. The clash between them is called a class struggle. The bourgeoisie are the people who own everything, so all the big businesses, factories, and land. This group of people are the upper and middle classes who exploit the workers. The bourgeoisie gets all the extra money, also known as the surplus value, which is left over after the wages to the proletariat are paid. The capitalist owners therefore make a big profit. Marx said the owners try to make their ideas and practices which benefit them seem like common sense for everyone else. This is their ideology, which is spread by other agents of socialization like the media, which incorporates celebrity role models who constantly encourage us to buy things through adverts, and the education system, which teaches us obedience and how we must work hard to be successful. Marx believed that in order to promote equality in society, capitalism must be destroyed. The proletariat must rebel against the government, and society must start again. The proletariat don't own anything and are therefore forced to work for the bourgeoisie, generally for a minimum wage. The proletariat are exploited by the bourgeoisie. To change this, Marx wanted a communist society to start. In this type of society, everyone will produce exactly what is needed for exactly who needs it, and everyone will follow the same rules. Communism refers to a society based on equality. In a communist society, there would be no private ownership, only public ownership. Nobody would own their own house, instead the government would provide housing. Everyone would earn the same amount of money, so a doctor would earn the same as a receptionist, for example, to maintain equality. People are always looked after when they have no money. The government would pay for all our basic needs, such as our healthcare and education. This, of course, is in contrast to a capitalist society, where people are free to earn as much as they would like. There are huge differences between the salaries people earn. People privately own their own businesses, land, and properties, and pay for their healthcare and education. In a strictly capitalist society, if you're unemployed, you have no money and the state does not take care of you. Marx therefore called for a communist revolution to restart society. Marx recommended the abolition of private ownership and said all property should belong to the state. He wanted to abolish all rights of inheritance so the rich no longer stay rich. He wanted to centralize the banks, the means of communication, and transport to the hands of the state. He wanted all businesses, factories, and properties to be owned by the state instead of people. And he wanted to abolish child labour, which was prominent at the time Marx was writing, and instead he wanted children to be provided with a free education. These ideas may seem nice in principle, but do communist societies really work? Unfortunately, communist societies have suffered from dictatorship regimes leaving people living in poor conditions and not allowing their countries to advance in the same way capitalist countries have. There's not much motivation to work hard if the reward is minimal. In fact, in Cuba, there are many well-trained doctors, teachers, lawyers, and engineers, just to name a few professions, who choose to work as taxi drivers or waiters in hotel resorts so they can earn more money from the tips tourists give to them. In 2021, there are only 5 communist countries left, and they are China, Vietnam, Cuba, Laos, and North Korea. China is ruled by the Communist Party of China, which is the founding and sole governing political party of the People's Republic of China. Vietnam is also known as the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. In Vietnam's third constitution, written in 1980, the Communist Party was stated as the only party to represent the people and lead the country. Cuba is ruled by the Communist Party of Cuba, whose role is described in the Cuban Constitution as the leading force of society of the state. Laos, also known as the Lao People's Democratic Republic, has only one political party known as the Lao People's Revolutionary Party. North Korea is considered a communist country, however it does not consider itself one. North Korea is a dictatorship of people's democracy. After the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, North Korea revised its constitution to remove all references to Marxism-Leninism. All references to communism were removed from the North Korean constitution in 2009. The future of society is always uncertain. However, we can be certain when we say that Karl Marx left a legacy.